So this is a quick video on how to change a battery on a W205 C300 M264 engine, which is facelift. I got the battery here from China. It's a Varta battery, slightly a little bit more upgraded from the way it came with. I'm going to use a second battery to keep the car alive with the terminals connected to the positive and the negative here. That way you don't lose the car memories and stuff like that as well, and then change the battery in the process as well. So starting off quickly, just undo these. Done the one over there. So one of the easiest things to change in this car is the pollen filter, or cabin filter, what you want to call it. It's literally just hovering on top of the battery. You just literally lift it up and just completely just lift it up, really. So you can see the blowers in there and the filters in there, and this is it. This is what we're going to replace. So just a quick one, I've already taken off the bracket which holds the battery in with a T40, and then obviously I use one of those magnet tools to pick it up because it's not convenient. So that's one step, and obviously I've taken the cover off as well, which is pretty straightforward. I don't think I need to show you guys, and that cover goes in there. And then obviously there's something else I got to pay attention to later on. That's the valve where exhaust, not car exhaust, but fumes from the battery would escape safely. So now what I'm going to do next, before I loosen these up, I'm going to connect the jump start cables up to these extra additional terminals to the power or the donor battery to keep the car alive. That's the next step before I start taking apart the negative and positives. So yeah, this is how it should look. You know, you put the red on the donor to the red on your one first, and then you put the negative from the donor to your bare metal. Also in this case, in the Mercedes, you have these points already set up. Now I'm just going to quickly start unbolting these ones. So obviously you also make sure you take off the negative first before the positive, and then obviously try and keep the stuff separated before, you know, while you do the switch over. So all done now. Sorry I couldn't show you guys the process, it was a bit tough. Fitting the battery was a little bit tough because this one's slightly a bit bigger, so I had to move the terminals a lot further. And damn, this battery is really heavy. Trying to do it yourself while bending over does actually hurt your back as well. But yeah, I managed to like put it in, but the toughest part was getting that lock bracket back in its place, which was quite tough to find because it's so tight you can't see where the hole is because you're looking directly over it trying to put it in. Obviously I was using the magnet and trying to wedge it in, like probably about after a good half an hour I managed to put that in. I think that was the most longest part. Other than that, it's all done. I'm going to check the car and read the voltage in a bit and show you guys, but I'm just going to put the stuff back in at the moment. So this is the cabin filter, and then goes this one. Slots right into place. Lock that. That is locked as well. Let me get my stuff out, my tools out. So this is how you check it on a W205. You press the button, start button once without putting your foot on the pedal, obviously. You wait until that comes up. You don't go to the second click, you only do it on the first click. You've got to be on that mileage thing, reader, and then you press hold back until that goes back. As soon as it goes back, you press that touch button, and then it brings you to vehicle data. You press the vehicle data, and now you see the voltage is showing at 12.5, which is really good and it's steady. Let me turn it on and you'll see. I'll let you know how it goes. If it's not how I expect it, I might need to code it in as well, but I'll give you guys a shout on that as well, let you know how it went. But other than that, it's all done. And eventually you're going to see that go up to 14.6. So you see it now. Alright guys, quick little recap on a few additional things I've done afterwards. So you guys have noticed when I changed the battery earlier, I kept the car alive by putting a second battery on. If you do that, then the car keeps its previous settings, the BMS management, which is the battery management something, keeps the settings for the old battery. So that's why when you saw me switch on earlier on, you saw the BN number was moving from 62 to 0, whereas with a new battery it should be like moving from 90ish to 100 backwards and forwards. That's basically like the amount of amp hours your battery still has or still holding, right? And that's when all your functions and start, stop and all that would work. So I gathered, you know, if it kept the settings, so because I kept the car alive, then let me do it as if I didn't keep the car alive. So what I did, I then later on came back. All I did was took the negative cable from the battery off for about 10-15 seconds and then put it back on again without no additional power. That then reset the car or reset the battery management system, BMS, yeah, that's what it's for. And then now it's giving the new battery readings, which is why you see all this. So now start, stop and all that sort of stuff, all the functions are working exactly how it should. So that then questioned what I've heard on YouTube before, which what people don't generally tell you, and I don't think even any dealers or garage will tell you, because obviously it might cost money, right? But basically on cars that have the second power option as a capacitor, not a second battery, on those cars it doesn't need to be coded. On cars that have a second battery that powers the accessories, on those cars you need to code the car to tell it that it's got a new battery, because the car never dies, right? Whereas on this car, the W205 M264 engine, which is the facelift C300, we don't have a second battery. We have something called the capacitor. It's basically like something that shoots up the voltage really high for a short period of time, so it could turn the car on even if your battery's low, kind of thing. But it's not basically a battery. So when you disconnect the battery, it does die, and when you turn it back on, the systems do reset, right? So as far as coding goes, you likely only need to code cars that come with a second battery, because those cars don't die. And obviously I don't have a coder, hence why I thought, let me just take the battery negative terminal off and back on again. Because the way I originally did it, by keeping the car alive, if I were to reset the battery management system, I will need to code it. But you know, I just took the negative cable out. That's one thing. One other quick tip that you probably didn't see me do is to get the battery in, because it's larger, I wedged away the negative terminal and held the positive terminal with one hand far to the back, and then I put the battery in, which was obviously difficult, very tight. Did it with one hand, but that's how you do it. You can't do it, you can't hold the battery with two hands and do it. Yeah, so I hope this information helps, and yeah, do it yourself, you know, save a lot of money. Peace out.